Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion. I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube, and I call this chapstick. This is cotton candy. I pulled it at random. I was having a moment where I am excited for the new Nomad palette, and so I thought, you know from the title, we're going to use Haunted Europe. I'm trying to get the glare off. Look at that. And the new packaging has a similar vibe to it where it's two different pictures. So I am hella excited for it. On my face so far, Fenty brow pencil, Fenty primer, Fenty foundation, Hourglass translucent setting powder, Esum cheek thing, and then we put other cheek stuff to just add color back. Had some issues over here. What else is new? Me having issues, right? Hourglass finishing powder, the Fenty spray, lower lash line, and inner rims is the Sephora collection 12-hour retractable eyeliner number 14, shimmer khaki green. So we got that started. I'm going to do the intro as I prime my eye. Thank you so much for being here. I call this the crazy troll nation. The crazy just enjoying whatever it is you're on YouTube to do. And if you do videos, knowing it's okay to be your authentic self, letting your personality shine through and not being overly concerned with, will this person like me? Are they going to accept me? You know, YouTube is hard because when you do videos, you do set yourself up to be criticized. Constructive criticism is fine, but then there's some people who are not always so nice, and I suggest not taking it personal because, you know, people have bad days. It might just be that day, or they're just not a happy person, and non-happy people tend to not be pleasant. And so I don't take it personal because I really don't think it is because they don't know me for it to be personal. So anyway, I really got off track there that quick. The troll part of the crazy troll nation is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand or a certain technique or a certain tool. Like, use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. The bottom line here is self-acceptance and self-love. Embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Love yourself, y'all. You are amazing the way you are. What you think about yourself is way more important than what other people may think about you. And so love yourself. Love yourself. Treat yourself well. Don't wait for a special day or holiday to treat yourself to something. If you want something, just get it. You know, do for yourself. Self-care is important. And, you know, if you need a day at the spa to show yourself self-care, you know, find a coupon somewhere and then just go do it, or do at-home facials, whatever it is you need to do to help you take care of yourself. And so that is the intro. I have to let you know I do use foul language on my channel sometimes because I use foul language, period. So we're going to jump into this look, and I had 3 more looks to do with this palette. This look today will be look number 8. I haven't used it in a while for no particular reason other than just using other stuff, and I don't have a huge collection, and so it's just like, why did it take me so long to get back to it? But anyway, we are here now. Excuse me. And the reason I wrote out this look was as a possible dupe from a look I did with America's Parks. America's Parks is no longer available. They retired it, and Haunted Europe is also now retired. And so it's very exciting that they came out with another kind of theme for Haunted Europe. And I remember them saying they didn't realize how popular this color story was going to be. And so I'm glad that they came back to it. And so I do think, looking at the shades we're going to use, that this will be reminiscent of an America's Parks look that we did. And if I can find that picture, I will insert that somewhere in this video so that you can see if it looks the same or not. And also looking at the colors when I was sitting here like, okay, what did I write? Why did I write it? I think it may also look a little similar to something that can be done with the new palette. And so we will see what happens with that. And I wrote it when I was doing inner corner out, lighter shade, dark, And so we're going to see if I still have that skill set. But part of me wants to flip it and do it the other way. And so I am thinking I'm going to flip it and do it the other way. And it's going to mess me up because I have my brushes set out to do inner lid. Let's just do it the way I wrote it. So, because I'm going to confuse myself. So we're going to take Hooska's Castle, and that's going to go on the inner lid. And I'm not tapping off. Y'all look. Oh my gosh, this shade. I haven't used this in so long that it's just like, wow. And this is one of my favorite Nomad palettes because of the color story. Because you can go light and ethereal with it if you want to. You can go dark. You can do, you know, a gold look. You can do a green look. You can do just, you know, reds over here. And I will list the playlist below, and I will also put it as an iCard near the end of the video. So if you click on the description box, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, all the videos in the iCard will be down there. So if you don't want to exit out the video, this video, to see that one, you can just click on it from down below after this video is over. And that's why I started putting the iCards at the end, because they show up at the bottom of the description box anyway. And so I don't want you to miss something that you might want to see. I'm trying to bring this up higher because this is way over here. I do have a non-affiliated code with Nomad. Again, Haunted Europe is no longer available, but for the new palette, you will save 10%. I do not get a kickback on it, and so that's what non-affiliated means. There are a ton of affiliate codes, and so use anybody's code. It doesn't have to be mine. If you want to support someone who does get commission off of their code, I understand. Just make sure you're using someone's code to save yourself some money. And so I'm still just trying to get this somewhat even, and it's not looking even. This side to me looks brighter, and I think it's my lighting or my angle. Because looking in this mirror, this side looks brighter, but when I look over here, this side, it looks the same as far as the brightness. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. You know what? This palette, we're going to take Mary Cemetery, this shade here, and I should have looked up what the picture like from America's Parks I did with this palette, because I really don't know. I mean, I know it's green and yellow, green and gold, just based on the colors, but I don't remember what the look looked like. And it would have made sense to like check that first. This is a soft shadow, and you see how there's an indentation here. And from looking at the new palette, I am not even tapping off. Looking at the new palette, the shimmers in that one, or the metallics in that one, are this same soft formula. And so I'm excited about that because I like this formula. They're easy to work with. I don't have any fallout. I'm not even tapping off my brush, and the shadows are going on fine. If you want to use your finger, that's fine too. I'm just messy, and I'll forget that it's on my fingers and touch stuff. And I got chubby fingers, and so how will I get precision with that? I would not be able to. And so I use sponge tip applicators to substitute for finger application. This is nice. And so we're going to go in between. I'm thinking I might need to take a smaller brush to sweep in between, or let me just try and overlap. A smaller brush would be better. Oh, okay, it's blending, it's working. This is a dense brush. The one we use to apply the inner lid shade, that one is more dense than this one because it's shorter and more stubby. Well, shorter and more dense than this one. I'm probably not making sense. I'm just excited. I think this is looking like that America's Parks look, says me who didn't even look at the picture. I do have a gallery, well, I think we all have galleries in our phone, but I have a folder in there with Nomad looks. And so it is easy for me just to go back and see what I've done. And so I am pretty sure this look from America's Parks that we're seeing, if this is a dupe for, is in there. And it will be surprising that it is. And so keep in mind too, as you're seeing this look, and when I show you the America's Parks look, if you don't have either one of those palettes, because there's greens and golds in the new palette, you may be able to get something similar. Maybe not the same tone, maybe not the same brightness, But as far as the color story for a look, it may be similar. I'm liking this. My stomach is like, I hope you didn't hear that. I'm trying to think of what I want to eat for lunch. I'm thinking something simple, like just crackers and pepperoni and cheese. That's what I'm thinking. But then part of me wants something hearty, like to make a burrito bowl, which I could do. Or I can do salmon and rice. So I don't know. And each of those 3 different things I named take about the same amount of time to cook. So it doesn't really matter. There's like a dark fleck right here, but I didn't use dark shadows, and so I have no idea where that was from. So now we're going to take Grindle, this shade here. So this is the first matte we're using for this look, and this is going to go, it says on the outer lid. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take Mary Cemetery over a little further, because I don't know if I want to bring that matte all the way in, and I should have taken this one further over, more so in the center of the lid, well, the first portion of the lid. And so we're just going to bring this over here. These shades, I like this palette, I really do. And when I look at palettes from like one brand, I said it before in another video, that even if you just stick with one brand, if you buy the majority of palettes from that brand, or even just the palettes that speak to you as far as what your style is, what your makeup aesthetic is, you will have everything you need. And that's one of the reasons that my collection is small, is because when I look at color stories, even if I see a palette and I'm like, wow, that's really pretty, I'm like, I could kind of dupe that with what I have. It won't be exact, no it won't, but it'll be pretty close, and I will be satisfied with the look that I can do with it. And so that's something to think about when you see pretty palettes, and when you're looking at looks that people are doing, think about, can I do that or something very similar with what I already have, so that you don't end up with, you know, 20 palettes and you're using the same shades out of those 20 palettes and all the looks kind of look the same. You know what I mean? And so now we're going to go into Grindle, this shade here, and we're going to put that on the outer portion of the lid. This one I am just like lightly tapping, and we are going to tap this one off. And we're going to put this outer corner. So this is a monochromatic look with a pop of gold on the inner corner, and these shadows, oh my gosh. What oil is in this palette? This palette has bilberry seed oil in it. Not that it probably matters. Most of their palettes does have a different oil or some type of element in it, which is supposed to help the shadow last longer, apply better, be smooth on the lids, that type of thing. My experience with Nomad shadows is, one, sometimes they show up different on my lid than in the pan, but this palette, they do show up how they look in the pan. But my other experience with Nomad shadows is that they do turn around the PAO time, which is a period after opening, which is how long whatever makeup or skincare item is said to be good for. And I do believe it's because of whatever the oil is, because oils do go bad. It's just a theory, I don't know. But this palette I've had, wow, almost 2 years. November will be 2 years I've had this palette, and I have not experienced any irritation with this palette, which is amazing. Excuse me for smacking. I've had other Nomad palettes that when I use them after the PAO, or even a few months before the PAO, like my lids were irritated. I do have sensitive lids. I do have sensitive skin. So there's some people that can wear anything all the time, but for me, I pay attention to the time frames, and that's why I put labels on stuff, because if I have a reaction, I'm like, okay, what's causing it? Why? How old is this? How long have I had it? Type of thing. But this one, I have noticed though, this shade here, the texture has changed. And this texture, when I used this last time, it was crumbly, and I don't remember it being crumbly before. And the same with this one, but I still had no irritation from this or that shade, or any shade in here. And I'm really enjoying that, because I really like this palette and I want to keep it as long as possible. And this look is bomb. We're going to take the tip of the brush. I was doing this to see if it was too wide. We're going to put this on the tip of the brush and bring that on our lower lash line. And this is going to blow it out. Ooh, that's nice. And we're going to put it here. So we're just kind of pressing and wiggling outer corner. It's not going to stay there because my eye's here. But yeah, we're just tapping it straight in. I've never used this brush to place shadow on lower lash line before. And I've been thinking to do it because usually what I see is when someone uses a transition shade with a fluffy brush, they'll use that same brush and run it on their lower lash line. And I'm thinking, isn't that too big for that? But it comes out nice. And so that's what I was thinking with this brush, is that it would be too big for it. But just using the tip of it, because it's tapered, it is actually working. And that's why I put the gel liner under there earlier. My problem though is getting this to connect without looking weird like how this side did. But we are going to put another shadow under here. I'm trying to think right now what color eyeliner to put on my upper lash line. That looks like it wants to be a double wing situation. But this side is completely rounded, so that's not going to be a double wing situation. So I need to figure out what we're going to do to fix that. And so what we're going to do, since this is the same shade as up here, we're just going to press and bring this down a little bit further. Or I could just take well, I already sprayed my face too. I was going to say take like a Q-tip or something to clean this up, but I think it looks okay. Yeah, so we're going to leave that like that. Now what we're going to take is Mary King's Close. This shade here. Something. My lash, some of my lashes turn downward, and I can feel it trying to play with the lashes down here. So I'm just putting the up ones up and the down ones down. Sorry, me looking bug-eyed freaks you out. So we're going to go into Mary King's Close. This one is powdery. And we're going to use this as a transition shade. So we're going to tap right now. This for me is a there, not there. And I am content with how this looks. But it does add just a tiny bit of something that's almost indiscernible. But I do like what it does. So it's like there but not there. And I don't know if you can tell. So this is without Mary King's Close. So if you look at the color of my skin, well, the primer, because the Fenty primer does have a slight pink hue to it. And then you see this over here. I think it does just help blend, or help the blend look better up here without adding shadow. And I do like that. So let's do the other side. This step could be not done. It could just, I could have left it how it was, but because of how I wrote it, so we're just going to do it. And I am really digging that. Tap back in, tap off. And we're going to tap along here too on the outside. So we're tapping in, tapping off, and we're going to tap that over here. I think I liked it better before because the green was more bold. And so we're going to go back to the brush that had Grendel on it, that dark green, which is hardly any in the brush. And we're going to just press because we want that darkness back. I like it dark. I like dark looks. I like bold looks. I like vampy looks, punk rock, messy, grunge, swamp water. I like everything except, for me, because I do like ethereal looks. It's just not my preference. But my preference is anything except monochromatic, light and airy, I say, as we have a monochromatic look on. Because I do believe the looks do serve a purpose. I'm going to tap very lightly on Grendel, and we're going to tap some right here where the two meet, just to have a little bit more depth in here too. Yeah, so anything that's not ethereal, anything that's not an ethereal monochromatic look is what I like for myself. So we're going to put that brush down. That probably didn't make any sense. And so now we're going to take the Catacombs, this shade here, and this is going to go also on our lower lash line. We are almost done with this look. I can hardly believe it. And because this video is shorter than some of my other ones, I'm thinking, do I want to do a second look? I like that. So this is Grendel by itself. This is Grendel with Catacombs on top. This one is, it seems like it wants to be flaky, even though it's not. And so looking at it and feeling it, there's a tiny bit of fallout Oh, and a piece just popped up into my eye. Y'all, it's always something. What color eyeliner do I want to do? I want to do one that's going to show up, which could just be a black. I could go bold and do Kultura, which is like a weird orangey tone, weird in a good way, or Contemplative State, which is one of my favorites. If I do, let me put this palette down. So that's it for the eyeshadow colors. Or I could do Slate, which is a dark blue, or Fortune, which is a dark green. This is Fortune. These are from Melt. I think I might do this one. It is green, but as you see, it's very deep. And it almost shows up like a black. This is Slate, which is a deep blue. I'm thinking this one because it'll add contrast. I'm going to do one with Fortune, the green, and one with this and see how it looks. And whichever one I like better, I can just always top it. If we want it to be out there, which I don't today, would be OK Boomer, because this would definitely stand out because it's so bright. Part of me does, though, want to take Kultura, because this would add to the messy grunge type look. I'm going to do Kultura, so forget what I said about the other thing. I do really... Thank you for helping me figure this out. I do really like Contemplative State. It's way more toned down than Kultura. This Contemplative State is safe. This would look really nice. It's safe. This is like, we're going to punk rock it out, messy grunge it out a little bit. So we're going to use this one. Part of me is thinking do one on one eye and one on the other. We're going to take a Melt eyeliner brush, and we're going to go into Kultura. I think I'm going to do Contemplative State on one eye, just so you can see the difference between the two, because even though I've used them both, I don't think I've done one on each eye to like really see the differences in how they look, even though Kultura is very bold, because it is like an orange, like a deep mustard orange, or what is it called, spicy mustard, excuse me for smacking, spicy mustard color, or spicy brown mustard color, which to me isn't brown, is more like an orange. My color perception is different than some people's, so how I'm explaining spicy brown mustard, you may be thinking that ain't what it looks like. And I do acknowledge that I do perceive color different than some people. Yeah. I like this. So we're going to take another Melt liner brush. I haven't used this with Max Paint Pot before. And this works really well with the Melt liners, because the Melt liners are very creamy, whereas the paint pots are a little more stiff, a little more dry. They go on smooth, but as far as picking them up on a brush, they're more dry. And in a way, that's what gives me more control when I use it. And that's why with the Melt liners, I would sometimes have trouble getting a thin line, because it just is so creamy. And I found that for me, using the Melt eyeliner brush is the best brush to use for it, because I am able to get more of a thinner line using it. So, so y'all see what I mean? Like, Kultura is just like, pow. Contemplative State is like, okay, we chilling. So if you want to be safe, Contemplative State is always a good one. If you want to be a little more grunge, Kultura. So on the eye, the only difference is Kultura is more bold. And I'm here for both of them. And I think if I wore this out, I don't think anyone would notice. I think they would think, okay, it's just the lighting or the way the sun, you know, is hitting, you know, my eyeshadow look. Because they don't look that different. This is just more there than Contemplative State. And I'm really pleased with the Melt eyeliner brushes. I have 3, and I purchased one not knowing if I was going to like it, and then I did, and so I got more. So now what I'm thinking is like, what mascara to use. I could use Squirt. This is going to be like too green. I don't want to do all the matchy stuff. So I think I'm going to use this one from MAC. This is a stack mascara, Viva Violet. And since we're going to do this, I think I'm going to do a purple lip. Even though a brown lip would go well too. The last time I did a look, I don't remember if it was a green eyeshadow look or not, but we used, oh, it was with the MAC Connecting Color Hi-Fi color palette. She wanted me to do a deep purple. My other purple is not as dark. We could do a black lip though. My other purple that I'm fishing for right now is Mysterious Plum. I think that's too light for this look. We're going to go with, I like a dark lip. And even though this is different, this is more bold. So we're going to go with the dark purple. And this one is actually called dark purple and it's number 52. So we're going to put on the Lancome Cils Boost Mascara. I also have Miss Merlot. We're going to use Miss Merlot instead of the MAC stack because I keep thinking it's almost done. My label says it expired in May and this is Ivy League. But when I use them, like I never have an issue with them. And so I keep using them, just waiting for the day when it's like, girl, throw me away. Mascaras are typically good 3 to 6 months. There's a few I've had that said 12 months. And I'm like, what? Like, what kind of formula is this? So usually I keep them until I put them on and it irritates my eyes. Either the scent changes, which makes my eyes burn, or just applying it, because when I apply mascara and even this mascara base, I can feel it touching my inner rim. And so it's something with it being on my skin, if not aggravating my nasal sinuses, that it's just like, okay, we cannot use this anymore without irritation. So we're going to take Miss Merlot. So it's not purple, it's like a burgundy-ish kind of thingy. And we're going to put this on. I love the wand one here, the way it's shaped. It really does comb through my lashes. I haven't used this one in a while. And part of me keeps saying, just go ahead and get rid of it. But I like having different color mascaras. And so it's not a purple. This is the color of it, but it doesn't show up that color. And maybe if my skin tone was lighter, or maybe if I had on an ethereal eyeshadow look, it would show up the color that it is. It is noticeable that it's not black. When I wear different color mascaras out, even this one, people say, what color mascara is that? Like, they know it's not black. They might not know what color it is because they'll ask me what color is it, but they do notice it's not black. And so I'm just saying that to say it does show up non-black on the lashes. Okay, we're going to do the bottom. Another reason I like doing contrasting eyeliner colors for upper lash line is that it does make it easier to see the mascara. If I had on a black liner, you may not even see the color of the mascara, but because it is a light eyeliner, meaning not black or a dark brown, you can see the mascara in front of it. So that is that. We're going to, yeah, so it doesn't really show up much. I need to put more on this side because I'm seeing that shadow base, the mascara base under here, which means I missed the lashes here. So if you're having trouble getting your outer corner, just spike it. Just use the tip of the mascara wand and spike it. And you can do that for all of it. If your mascara is clumping, which mine is not, wherever it clumps, just spike it. Or if you're having trouble getting inner corner, just spike it. And that's how you can get mascara there in those places, or the hard to reach places. And so that's just a tip. I think someone at the MAC store had told me that like years ago, and it stuck with me. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Because sometimes people say things and I'm just like, what? But that made sense. So we're going to wipe off a little bit of the chapstick, and we're going to put this lip on. And then we will be done with this look. Thank you for being here. If you're still here, if you're liking this video, go ahead and thumbs up the video. If you're not subscribed, that would be appreciated. Comments are always welcome. I'm going to edit out putting this on. This is what we have with the lip. Oh my gosh, I love me with a dark lip. This is the look. Let me know what you think. I'm going to show you a picture of the America's Parks look that I think this is a possible dupe for. Let me know what you think. Like, was it or was it not? And also, if you think you can get something similar to this with the new palette, and we will probably do some comparisons somewhere down the road. But thank you for being here. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. There's a link to see what the perks are for joining if you would like to do that. If not, it is perfectly fine, because I'm just happy that you're here. Excuse me, girl. So rude. Feel free to share my videos on your community tab if you find them interesting and or helpful or just entertaining. And as of right now, my 1K scavenger hunt giveaway is still open. And I do have a video showing the prize bundles. And in that video, I have what the end date is. And so there is still a couple more weeks if you've been waiting to enter, or if you needed more time to find the answers. I didn't want you to feel rushed or overwhelmed. But yes, I'm excited about that. So again, we're going to go. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. As always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. You will see me soon.